All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our webinar today, Setting the Table for Financial Wellbeing, How Crate and Barrel Empowers Employees. My name's Brooke Arnett, and I'm going to be your host. So before we jump into our conversation, let's cover some basic housekeeping items. So if you're not familiar with the On24 platform, you can customize your view in a lot of different ways. Here's a quick summary of the functions available to you and what each one of these does. So the media player is going to pull up the video of myself and Janice. Slides are going to allow you to view the content we're sharing. There's some slides in there that we're going to touch on very lightly, but most of the content's really just for you to reference later. So feel free to leave that off if you'd rather just listen today. I'd also encourage you to explore related content at your leisure. But the most important widget of all of these is the Q&A function. So please use it to chat with us and ask questions or comment as we go. If we don't get to your question live today, we'll be sure to follow up afterwards and make sure we get your question answered. All right. Now let's transition into our content today, and I want to set the stage just a little bit before we dive in. The reason we're here today is because flexible on-demand pay and financial well-being are really no longer side conversations around something that's nice to have. What we're finding from the data and from talking to folks is that they're central to the employee experience. And when you look at the data, it tells a clear story. So 77% of Americans are stressed about their finances, with more than 2/3 living paycheck to paycheck. And of course, when employees are financially stressed, they're 5 times more likely to take sick time. Even higher earners aren't immune. So nearly half of employees making up to 6-figure salaries are still living paycheck to paycheck. And all of this financial strain shows up at work. Nearly half of employees say they're distracted or disengaged because of money stress. And that has a big impact on productivity and culture. So on the employee side, it's important to note that really here expectations have changed. 83% want more frequent pay schedules, and 76% of your employees now expect, not just nice to have, but expect instant access to wages. So the question isn't if earned wage access and financial well-being matters. It's how we as employers and solution providers can meet and exceed those expectations. And today we're lucky, we've got Janice on. She's one of our myFlexPay customers, and we're going to talk about how we do just that. So Janice, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Crate and Barrel.
Hi, and thanks for having me. I manage the payroll team at Crate. I've been with Crate for about 3 years now. We have 3 payrolls that we process. We have a biweekly payroll, smaller weekly payroll, and then we have a payroll in Canada. So pretty busy with associates. So yeah, we're happy to utilize myFlexPay.
Excellent. I'm glad we're able to help you out. I know payroll professionals are among the busiest of all of our workers. So thank you so much for taking the time today to be with us and for all that you do on a daily basis for your associates. So speaking of services, set the stage. Tell people a little bit about what you use OneSource Virtual and myFlexPay for.
We use OSV for net pay processing, garnishment administration, payroll tax, and W-2 processing and T4 processing at year end.
Excellent. And then when it comes to myFlexPay, I know a lot of people jump straight to earned wage access as being one of the critical features, but tell me a little bit about some of the other features that your employees use as part of this offering.
As far as transferring a portion of their pay, they're now using the financial aspect of it, which is budgeting and saving money. So when they do a transfer, for example, in between pay periods, they can save a small portion of that, $5, $10 or whatever they would like to save. So they're very excited about that feature, and we see those numbers going up. So in addition to just transferring funds in between pay periods, they can manage their pay and plan financial, they can financially plan for the future. So that's huge.
I love hearing about that. I was just talking with Holly, our partner over at RageStream, and she mentioned that a lot of these people who use the save feature, it's the first time they've ever had a savings account. So we're celebrating some first-time savers in your associate base for sure.
Yes.
Excellent. So I know when you came on board at Crate and Barrel, you weren't involved in the rollout of EWA, but talk to me a little bit about what it was like coming into a company that already has a solution, and what are some of the things that most checked your boxes as a payroll leader?
Okay. So coming in, it was already up and going for the US, and we don't have any issues with the platform. Very few questions that come in. There's not a lot of work on our side or the associate side. They basically download the app. It walks them through what to do and how to utilize the app and how to make transfers. So we don't get a lot of questions. So that was good to hear when I came in, that it's working seamless and not a lot of issues or not a lot of questions. So that was good to hear. And also it was a little surprising that some of our corporate associates are taking advantage and using myFlexPay. So that was good to hear and a little surprising, but so it's a great feature for all of our associates.
I'm so glad you mentioned it being for all of your associates. We have that conversation with people a lot. They think, I don't need it. I only have salaried employees. But we really see that even in your company, I think it's up to 14% of all of your users are salaried. And we see that honestly across the board. So it surprises us as well, but we're glad to see everybody really utilizing it.
Right.
Excellent. All right. Well, speaking of adoption, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit about some of the results that you're seeing and that employee impact. So when we looked at our numbers, you guys have a 20% adoption rate. So 1 in 5 employees are utilizing myFlexPay, which is really impressive. How are you getting those types of results at your company?
Basically, for new hires, we include the information in the onboarding document, so they're made aware at time of hire, and a lot of its associates join right away when they're hired. And then twice a year we do communications. We send out an email communication to our associates just to keep them familiar with the product and keep it in their mind. So when we send out the emails twice a year, we do get a number of associates that jump on at that time. And also we have posters in our break rooms at our stores and our distribution centers. So it's kind of front and center. They see it every day. So, and word of mouth. So I think that's what's increasing our participation.
So glad to hear it. That's the best thing, is when people share the news with each other and everybody gets to benefit.
When they're happy with it and share it with others.
Yeah. Now, I know when we were talking earlier, you mentioned you guys have some seasonal employees, or you have kind of some peaks during different seasons. Does this offering help during those times?
Yes. So we're moving into our peak season for the holiday season. So we'll be hiring a number of associates. So myFlexPay will be offered to them as well. And just based on our last year numbers, a good number of those seasonal employees took advantage of it. So yes.
Yeah. Want your money as soon as you can get it, for sure. Are you hearing anything from your total rewards team about people even asking during the interview process if you've got a solution like this?
I've not heard anything, but since it's included in the onboarding documents, I think they see it right away. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about the operational impact. Like you said, payroll's an extensive job. You've got a lot of to-dos on your list. How has it been rolling out this EWA program alongside your payroll services?
It's a very easy rollout. Basically, again, we just let employees know at time of hire, and then keeping them abreast of it all during the year with the communication. And recently we rolled it out in Canada for our Canadian associates. So very easy, not a lot of lifting on our side or the employee side. When we did the rollout in Canada, it was basically 3 steps. 3 introductory email or launch email went out to let the employees know it was coming, and then 2 additional emails went out after that, and it walked them through downloading the app and how everything worked. So very easy to roll out and maintain.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear for that. What about for you and your team? Are you having to do any additional treasury adjustments, reconciliation processes, any of those things that could impact payroll?
No, we don't do anything additional, just roll it out. The employees can do their transfers, and it's really no reconciliation on our end. We have reports that we have access to, so we can maintain and see what's happening, but no additional work or labor on our end.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes,
Can
we
you
have
tell
enough going on.
yeah, with all the payroll runs and separate geographical locations, certainly don't want to add more to your list at all.
Right.
So speaking of partnership, tell me a little bit about how the partnership with WageStream and OneSource Virtual work with you all.
We have a great partnership with both teams. We have a quarterly meeting with the two teams, WageStream and OSV, and we meet and discuss any the numbers and the engagement of our employees and the percentages and all of that. So it works really, really well. We don't get a lot of questions, but if we needed a meeting prior to our quarterly meetings that are on board, we could request a meeting. And if we have any type of questions or concerns that we can't answer, we reach out to either of the teams and work very well with us coming to resolution. So very good partnership.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear that.
Yes.
So looking ahead, when you think about extending the program to more employees, is there anything on your roadmap for continuing growth in the future?
Just continuing the communication that goes out during the year, twice a year. We have the posters again in our break rooms at the store level and the distribution center, and then word of mouth. So I think that's all we need to do to engage additional employees, and it seems to work for us with our numbers. So we're very happy with the program and OSV and WageStream, because it's a huge benefit to our associates with the high number of hourly associates that we have. So they're very happy, and we're happy with the service. So yes.
All right, we're coming up to event season, which means lots of conferences, lots of time to connect with other peers. If you were talking to someone else in the payroll industry, is there any advice that you'd give them around EWA programs?
Well, I have talked to others in the industry, and the number one question I get is it's a lot of work to maintain it or to roll out the program, and it's not. I think it's an awesome program, awesome benefit to your employees without a lot of work. So no heavy lifting on our end, and it's very easy and manageable for the associates. So I would say go for it. It's a great perk to keep employees happy with your retention rate. It tends to keep associates with us that know that they can access their funds at any time during the pay period, and they're not just waiting for their biweekly pay. So I would say definitely go for it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Janice, for your time and your partnership. I'm really happy to have you on the line today. Lindsay, I think we've got some time for questions from the audience if we have any. And I'll give you all a minute. If you haven't logged your questions in the chat feature, go ahead and pull that up, and you can do so now. Right. Looks like we've got a couple coming in, Janice. So the first one, okay. Yeah, you mentioned not having to field many employee questions on your side because employees generally know what to do, or you're able to answer those few questions that you have. But is there a dedicated place where employees can go for help if they have questions about myFlexPay specifically?
Yes, our associates go directly to associate care, or they come to payroll with questions, but we do have a dedicated number that we can refer them to if there's something that we can't answer and they need assistance from EWA. There is a dedicated line, so we refer them.
Excellent. And then one more question. So you mentioned a little bit earlier in your talk track about the quarterly reviews with WageStream and OSV. We've got someone who's curious to know, what's the main reason that your employees are transferring their wages?
basically, most of our employees are paid biweekly. We have a small population in New York that are paid weekly, but the biweekly associates may need access to their funds sooner. So for whatever, an emergency that comes up, healthcare, daycare, whatever they need it for, they have access to it. So those are the biggest things we hear, vacation money or something like that. So we're just happy that they're able to access on demand as needed.
I love to hear those stories about people
Mhm.
getting the hard-earned money that they've earned
Yes,
and being able to use it when they need it and how they need it. Yep.
right, right.
All right. Any closing thoughts or anything we haven't touched on today that you'd like to share with the folks who are joining us?
Um, that we're very happy with the service. The service that we got from both teams, OSV and WageStream, but the ease of the process for our associates to transfer their funds. And we only hear great things about it. So yeah, we just would like to continue the relationship and move forward and hopefully get more associates to come on as time moves on. So I think we're in the right direction, heading in the right direction.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you, Janice, so much for everything that your team does. Thank you for your partnership. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please, if you want to reach out with any other questions, feel free to do so in the chat here or send us a note. You can see some different ways to connect with us in the WageStream team, and we'd love to talk to you more if you're interested. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.